Florida State is moving on from linebackers and co-defensive coordinator Randy Shannon. He first joined the staff in 2021 as a senior defensive analyst, and in 2022 was named co-defensive coordinator and linebackers coach for the Seminoles. We've talked about this pretty heavily. I feel like the last couple of months, maybe even well over a year now, that Florida State might want to look into changing up some things there in the linebacker, and more specifically to, and at the college level, recruiting plays a vital role in what you do throughout the year. And let's be honest, the recruiting hasn't been great. There's been some big misses for the Seminoles and at the linebacker room for Randy Shannon. Yes, there's been some good product, mainly led by some veterans like Tatum Bethune or Kalen DeLoach. But outside of that, Florida State's that second level at the defensive side of the ball, Dustin, just not so phenomenal. And when you add that with also too poor recruiting, you just can't last much longer. And two, Florida State bringing in a new defensive coordinator, this was sort of expected and should not be a surprise.
Yeah, this is another change where, I don't think people are shaking their heads and wondering, man, why did this happen? Like you kind of talked about the linebacker recruiting, it's been a struggle for Florida State over the year. I mean, even when Chris Marv was in Tallahassee, but they haven't landed very many blue chip prospects. You look on the roster now, I believe Blake Nicholson is the only guy who was a composite blue chip high school recruit that FSU signed. And obviously, general manager Derek Ray played a large role in that recruitment. And, the relationship with Randy Shannon was important as well, but I don't think that it was the deciding factor, in Nicholson making the move to Tallahassee. And we saw in the 2024 class, FSU only able to sign 2 3-star linebackers. And then, as of yesterday, FSU only with 1 3-star linebacker signing in the class. Ethan Pritchard made a late run there, at Tavian Wallace, a guy who they felt like they had a good shot with over the summer. And then he surprisingly chose Arkansas, Florida State to close out the regular season, got him on campus back-to-back weekends, and still not able to flip that commitment into a signature during the early signing period. And then same thing with TJ Alford. You saw him stick with his commitment to Ohio State. Gavin Nix was another guy, a 4-star linebacker who grew up a fan of Florida State and called FSU his dream school. And he committed to Miami and flipped to Oregon, signed with them yesterday. So missed out on a ton of top targets at linebacker over the last 2 years. Obviously, didn't hit very well in the transfer portal this last year well either. So, the change kind of made sense. We saw, like you kind of mentioned at the beginning of this, what Kalen DeLoach and Tatum Bethune were able to do throughout their careers in Tallahassee. But once those two guys moved on to the NFL, there was just really no one behind them to step into that position.
No, Lundy didn't get to see a full season of DJ Lundy this year, but wasn't the greatest start from him to begin the 2024 season as well, Dustin. But I mean, that's all kind of just stems mainly to me and you as well, Dustin, on the recruiting side of things. And for Florida State, it's got to be better, man. And, I think with you have Tony White coming in, I'm really interested too what those candidates might look like and what Florida State can do more importantly there on bringing in most likely some transfers, but just getting the recruiting back into where it needs to be, because Florida State, I feel like there is intrigue and interest from some of these top targets, some really high profile talent in the linebacker room. But then at the end of the day, it's always second or third team. They cannot close when things need to get done. And that's just been repetitive under Randy Shannon. But, he served as the, interim defensive coordinator. I think Mike Norvell has a lot of respect for Randy Shannon. It can't keep going. There's got to be a change here. And I think it's a good move. And like I said, I'm interested to see what White brings in as a linebackers coach. I know there's been a lot of chatter about Ernie Sims, and, you've seen him out there at practices, Dustin. He's very hands-on with these players, but I think Florida State is going to look first at a really proven coach to help. Got to help develop and get that group better. And I don't know if Ernie Sims is the answer for that right now with the kind of situation that Mike Norvell is at right now of trying to make sure this 2025 season is at a better place than most certainly what we saw in 2024.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that would be the fit for Florida State. I have to imagine that Tony White is going to get the final say on this hire as far as the linebackers coach, and could look to someone that has ties to him. Could even look to bring in Nebraska's current linebackers coach at the moment. That'll be something to monitor. Maybe Florida State looks to keep Ernie Sims around in an analyst role or something of that sort because I do think that he brought some positive qualities to the program, and he was one of those coaches out there. I mean, every day at practice, pushing those guys with everything he got, showing a lot of emotion, intensity, passion, just demanding a lot out of the players. And throughout a season like this, I mean, that's the type of coach you need. So there's definitely a spot for him, in my opinion, in Florida State's program, and they should look to keep him around if possible. But, FSU, they absolutely have to nail this hire when it comes to linebackers coach, especially you're moving to this new 3-3-5 defensive scheme. So instead of having two linebackers on the field, you're going to have three in the majority of situations. And, FSU does have some promising young guys in that room. You think about Omar Graham Jr., Blake Nicholson, Justin Cryer, guys of that nature. But with only one signee in that high school class, they're going to need to hit that transfer portal pretty hard. And, bringing in the right linebackers coach is going to be crucial when it comes to that aspect.
We're going to keep a close eye on everything, and I'm going to keep you updated too on candidates and what we're hearing as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Almost to 15,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Got tons of content coming to you guys. So hit that subscribe button and hit the like button if you enjoyed this content.